Good afternoon, welcome back to Football League World TV. It's time for another midweek preview, and this afternoon we're talking purely Championship with a set of games in the second tier to discuss. I'm your host, George Dagless, and joining me this afternoon, Marcus Alley and Adam Jones. Marcus, how are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you. I think it's the last midweek compliment of the year, so looking forward to getting our teeth stuck into that.
Yeah, there's certainly plenty to talk about. Adam, how are you getting on?
Yeah, very good. But I think I've picked the wrong sport because I've got my rugby top on. But we'll go with it. We'll go with it.
Yeah, we'll try and gloss over that. People, wherever you're watching from, do get in touch. Let us know if you're going to a game this evening. Set to be a chilly one up and down the country, and let us know what your predictions are for your team in the Championship this evening. Let's talk QPR against Huddersfield first of all. It's a real playoff contender clash at the Kyle Prince Foundation Stadium this evening. QPR hosting Huddersfield Town. QPR's home form has been pretty good so far, Marcus, this season. Do you think that's going to give them an edge tonight?
Yeah, it's been enormous compared to last season. There's been such goodwill around the club, and the players are really thriving off of it. I think saying that their 2-0 win against Luton Town on Friday evening, I think the scoreline didn't really reflect how the game played out. Obviously, the first goal sort of scored on the break, and then Charlie Austin doubling their lead late on, kind of against the run of play. I think on another night, Luton could have got themselves right back into that one. Huddersfield obviously will be full of confidence, beating West Bromwich Albion at the weekend, and quite convincingly so. I think they really did match West Brom, who are a team that we've been expecting to be competing in a completely different section of the league as Huddersfield this season. So it's a really evenly matched affair. You say maybe that home advantage could edge it on the side of QPR, but I think Huddersfield will fancy their chances in this one.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good point Marcus makes, isn't it, Adam, that Huddersfield have continued to surprise, really, this season. Every time you think they're going to drop away, that they don't, and they're still very much in that playoff picture, and they'll be looking tonight to make a real statement against QPR. How do they go about getting that statement done this evening?
I think first of all, I think their defence is overall, I think, has been okay. I mean, apart from the 5-1 home loss to Fulham, I think it was the second game of the season. I think otherwise they would have conceded about 15 goals in 17 matches. And considering they've managed to bring in Matty Pearson on a free, Levi Colwill on a loan as well, and Tom Lees and that sort of thing, I think that has been the real kind of base to their season, that kind of platform to kind of build on. So I think for me, making sure that they're defensively solid first, I think has got to be the main priority. But considering the league position that they are in, and considering the threat that they do have going forward, I think that they should be able to kind of get themselves on the front foot as well at different stages of the game. I think picking the right moments will probably be key in this one. And I don't expect them to be perhaps the dominant team perhaps throughout the game. But the fact that they've got a really kind of solid defence, I think, makes it, they can kind of afford to sit back at times. So yeah, picking their moments, I think, will be key in this one. And you could definitely see them kind of nicking a win, if they're on their A game tonight. But they will have to be on top of their game, considering the form that QPR are in at the moment.
That said, then Adam, what's your score prediction for this one?
I said they can nick a win, but I think for me, I think QPR. I think the home advantage. That Mark Warburton the other day was saying how important the home advantage was, and how it will give them an edge. So I think for me, it'll be 1-0 to Queen's Park Rangers. Maybe Charlie Austin getting in the goals.
Okay, yeah, I can see a narrow hoops victory, so I'm going to go 2-1 to QPR. Marcus, a hat-trick of QPR wins this evening, do you think?
No, I'll go for a 1-1 draw. I'm still not really convinced with QPR as playoff contenders. I think they've had the rub of the green, particularly at home so far this season. I think Huddersfield come into the match in a good moment, and they'll be confident of taking something. Something doesn't quite add up with me with QPR at the moment, so I think the Terriers can take something.
Okay, they would certainly be very pleased with a point to take back to Yorkshire this evening. Let's move to Cardiff against Hull next. This should be a really interesting game, actually, in the Welsh capital. Cardiff welcoming Hull, two teams that have both won their last two games in the league, and two teams that are down at the wrong end of the Championship table. Adam, let's come to you first on this one. Who's it the bigger game for?
I mean, it's massive, I think, for both sides. I think to build on their momentum, I think it might be equally kind of as massive. I mean, looking at the the league table, you're obviously thinking that Hull probably need it a lot more. And they certainly have the ability to get a result. I know that, Cardiff going 1-0 down in the first half against Preston, it shows that, they do have vulnerabilities, going ahead in the second minute. So I think Hull, it'll be key for them to kind of get a really fast start on this one. I think two players in George Honeyman and Keane Lewis-Potter will be absolutely key for the Tigers. I mean, I watched them quite in depth actually against Barnsley before the international break, and both of them on the break were just fantastic. I think those will be the two key figures for them throughout the season. So for me, I think they've got to keep Keane Lewis-Potter on the books. I know that he's been subject of interest from the Premier League, but those two could be key tonight. But I think for Cardiff as well, they've been released from the shackles of Mick McCarthy and kind of his playing style. They may still go with the three at the back. I know that they still do, but for me, it doesn't mean it has to be defensive. I think they're playing with a lot more freedom now under Steve Morrison. It feels a lot fresher as well, and there seems to be a better relationship between the manager now and the fans, and I think that makes a huge difference in terms of the atmosphere, and also for Hull, the takeover as well, the potential takeover. So the atmosphere at both clubs, considering their league position, is actually okay at the moment. But in terms of answering your question, yeah, I think Hull just about edge it, but for both sides, continuing their momentum would be absolutely massive.
Yeah, it's certainly a really big game at this point in the season. Marcus, I'm looking at it thinking I can't look past Cardiff winning, and I think it's purely because Cardiff's position is a bit less accurate when you look at the quality they've got, whereas Hull you probably expect them to be in this relegation battle this season. Is there any way Hull can get a result tonight?
Well, it's still unclear if Kiefer Moore's going to return, which I think would be a boost for Hull. Definitely, obviously, if he doesn't. George Honeyman's had a great impact coming back from injury for the Tigers. He's got 2 goals and 1 assist in just his last 2 matches. And I think this is a really big opportunity for Hull to build a little bit of momentum and try and give themselves a little bit of breathing space above the bottom 3. Their next 4 matches, including tonight, so you've got Cardiff away, then Millwall at home, Reading away, and Bristol City at home. I think that's a nice period where they'll be hoping to pick up some points. Having said that, defensively, they've really got some injuries to key players. Deshaun Bernard's going to miss out tonight due to an accumulation of yellow cards. They've got other injuries. I think they've only got 2 fit defenders. So Cardiff will be licking their lips, particularly if Moore is fit to start the game. Obviously, James Collins getting the winner at the weekend was massive, breaking his duck for the club after being so impressive at Luton last season. So I agree with you that Cardiff are rightful favourites, but I think it'll be an even and entertaining match.
Okay, that said, are you back in the draw tonight, Marcus?
I'm going 2-1 Cardiff. I think Hull are improving. They have been playing better in the last month or so, and building towards the takeover and the January transfer window, I think they can at least stay where they are and stay competitive, fighting off relegation. But Cardiff just can't be as bad as their results this season have suggested. I don't think they're going to continue conceding goals at the rate they have been, and I think Hull's defensive fragilities might cost them tonight, so I'm going 2-1.
Yep, I'm firmly in the Cardiff camp as well tonight. I'm fancying a 2-1 victory as well against the Tigers. Adam, what can you see happening this evening?
Yeah, as Marcus said, I think the thing with me is the fact that the whole injuries in defence are kind of playing on my mind. But I guess that's kind of been the theme of the season, kind of fighting against adversity through their transfer embargo and that sort of thing. So I don't think it will be that much different for them, kind of that fight against adversity. So I'm going to go with the 1-1 tonight.
Okay, we will see what happens there. Up next, we're talking Millwall against Bournemouth. The Lions welcoming the Cherries to the new den. A freezing evening in Bermondsey, it's set to be. Millwall fans will be right up for it against a Bournemouth team that's lost 2 of their last 3 in the Championship. Marcus, Millwall are going to really, fancy this, I would imagine.
It's quite amusing to suggest that the cold weather inspires them even more. But yeah, they'll fancy their chances. It's a bit of a scalp. Bournemouth, one of the smallest clubs in the division, but in terms of on the pitch ability, it is a big match when you're playing against the likes of Solanke, Phil Billing, Ryan Christie. Some of the players they've got at their disposal. Obviously, Scott Parker coming back, a Charlton youth product, that might add a bit of spice to the occasion. I think the Bournemouth defeat against Derby at the weekend was a bit of a freak result. They made some pretty silly errors. Jason Knight had the freedom of the 18-yard box to nod in the opener, and then They got caught in possession and were punished by Tom Lawrence. Before that match, they'd actually only conceded 1 goal away from home in the league all season, which just absolutely blows my mind, to be honest. And I think they might be able to get back to that this evening. Millwall will fancy their chances at home, particularly. They've got the quality to hurt Bournemouth, but they've fallen away from the playoffs a little bit in recent weeks. Their form has slowed up a touch. They're just 3 points off it still. But I think Bournemouth are the team to favour in this encounter.
Okay, I mean, Adam, I suppose this is, you look back on this game at the end of the season on Bournemouth, Will, and it's the ones where you stand up and be counted, and that's what sometimes can decide promotion, where you're in a little bit of a rut, and then you go somewhere like Millwall, where, as I mentioned, Marcus, it is going to be freezing, and it's going to be tough, and the home fans are going to be right up for it, and you still get a result. This is where, the Cherries promotion campaign, it's matches like this, it'll be make or break it in some respect.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it will probably be the difference between automatic promotion and playoffs. I know that they're quite far ahead at the moment with Fulham. It seems to be a 2-horse race really for the title. They seem like nailed on really contenders for automatic promotion. But yeah, as you said, going to Millwall, it'll be a tough crowd to come up against as well. But that they also give stick to their own players sometimes. So it could be a really difficult occasion for both. The fact that they've got such depth as well. I think Bournemouth as well, with Mepham coming in, Lewis Cook as well after such a long-term injury, I think is a big boost. Obviously, it will take time to adapt to, but yeah, I think it would be it's a good opportunity for them to get some points on the board. I think for me, before Tuesday night, before last night, I would have been saying this is going to be quite a cagey affair. I think Millwall quite, reasonably solid defensively, and AFC Bournemouth, after conceding 3 at the weekend, will probably want to tighten up in defence. As Marcus said, Jason Knight, the header, that was not good at all really. The free header, the second goal, you kind of let them off for that one because that was a wonder strike really, and the third one. Yeah, I don't know. What can you really say about the penalty? So yeah, they'll be eager to tighten up, but also the fact that West Brom dropped points against Blackpool last night, I think, will play a part. So I think they might loosen up a bit, and I think that combination of wanting to be more solid defensively, but knowing in the back of their mind that they've got a real opportunity to get 3 points and go, two up on West Brom kind of in midweek, I think will play in their favour. So I think it's an absolutely perfect combination for them. And as I said, I think their depth and their quality will be too much for Millwall tonight.
Okay, let's get your score prediction then, Adam. How big's Bournemouth's win going to be?
I'm only going to go with the 1-0. I think it'll be slightly cagey, but I think they'll loosen up slightly, maybe towards the end.
Okay, Marcus, what are you backing here?
Back to winning ways for Bournemouth, 2-1.
Okie dokie. Given that I have bigged up the atmosphere tonight at the New Den, I'm going to go for a draw between Millwall and Bournemouth, but Bournemouth will obviously be looking to respond and keep pace with the team we're coming up to next, and that's Fulham when they host Derby this tonight. Yeah, so as we mentioned, Fulham are playing Derby, top meets bottom at Craven Cottage. Marcus, let's come to you first of all. Let's talk Derby, actually. They're going to take, yes, the points difference is massive. We know why as well. And obviously it doesn't look great at the table. They'll take a lot of positives from the weekend against Bournemouth, and they'll try and convert that into a result against Fulham tonight.
Yeah, definitely. I think they'll be inspired by the sort of David and Goliath encounter, what this feels like when you look at the two squads, who'll be on the team sheets this evening. I think Sunday would have taken a lot out of them emotionally, maybe even more than physically, having had the points deduction in the week and then bouncing back with such a terrific result. It's a lot to ask for them to go again and be as defensively solid as they have been this season at times. They've been able to stay in games quite a lot, had a lot of 1-1s, a lot of 0-0s. Fulham is probably the hardest team in the league to try and execute something like that. So I think that they're right up against it, but Rooney will be embracing the sort of nothing to lose mentality. It's clear that they've got some great leaders in the side, like Curtis Davis has rolled back the years so far this season. So I think they'll be able to stand firm. I don't think it's realistic to think they can get a win from the game. I think they'll be looking to sit in and frustrate Fulham. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they're like after what would have been an exhausting but exhilarating experience beating Bournemouth at the weekend.
As for Fulham, Adam, it's another chance for them to stretch their legs a little bit more in terms of the top two. They win tonight, regardless of what Bournemouth do. They'll be opening that gap up to those below them, with the likes of West Brom dropping points earlier this week. It's another great opportunity for them, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think they need to use their attacking prowess, really. They need to start on the front foot. They've certainly got the attacking capability up top with the likes of Mitrovic, Cabano, Reed as well, Wilson, Carvalho. They've got the players up top that can basically blow Derby away. And I think because Derby will need to come out on the front foot, they've got such a massive deficit to make up. I think Fulham, that'll kind of work in Fulham's favour, I think, in terms of finding holes in the defence. And if they can take a comfortable lead really before half time, then that will give them the platform maybe to give them one or two more. I think that Derby's fans tonight will be right behind them. So I think that the importance of a good start for the home side can't be understated. I think they have the capability to do that as well. I know that in his press conference, I know that Wayne Rooney said that he didn't have a kind of certain plan to deal with Alexander Mitrovic, and I kind of get why, because obviously the prowess of the people behind him as well. As I said, Cabano, Wilson, and Carvalho. I think those will be the three that start tonight. So yeah, they're kind of in a lose-lose situation if they plan for one player and kind of try and keep him quiet, then others will pop up, and if they don't plan for him, then he'll probably be a nuisance tonight. So yeah, it's a complete lose-lose situation really for Derby County. I'm not sure if the deficit of the win's going to be absolutely huge. Curtis Davis and Phil Jagielka were pretty decent at the start of the season. Obviously, they've been a bit more leaky since, but I think they'll have the experience to do all right, actually, at the back of Craven Cottage in a big game. So for me, I don't think it'll be a massive deficit, but I think it will be a comfortable Fulham win, and I don't think that Derby will get on the score sheet, but we'll soon see.
Okay, yeah, no, I can kind of see your reasoning, Adam. I'm not going to go for a narrow Fulham win as well. I think it might just be 1-0, maybe 2-1, something like that. I think Derby are going to be right up for trying to cause a little bit of an upset if they can. What's your score prediction here?
I'm going to go with a 2-0 win, but as I said, I don't think it will be a massively comfortable one, but I think it will be a decent enough performance.
Okay, and Marcus, what have you got?
2-0 as well. I think Fulham can get comfortable before sort of the hour mark and then just sort of see it out with Derby resilient as ever.
Yeah, we will see what happens there at Craven Cottage. Hopefully it's a good game. I'll be there at least watching Football League World. One final game to talk about in depth, and that's Barnsley against Swansea City at Oakwell. Adam, let's come to you first of all. Obviously, Poyet Asbaghi, his first game in charge was a little bit of a lead balloon, losing away at Fulham 4-1 at the weekend. But in fairness, most teams are going to probably do that this year. This is, perhaps the one where it really gets started for him. Home game against the Swansea team that is obviously doing, pretty well this year. But Barnes will feel as though that they can, give them a real game this evening.
Absolutely. I think the one great thing is the fact that they're at home as well. I think that Asbaghi, I'm not sure. I think he might have been perhaps in the stands for that one. So I'm not sure. This might be his first game on the touchline. So that might give the game a real edge kind of at Oakwell. And against a Swansea side that are not invincible either. They're still in a transition process. There won't be too much, I don't think, pressure on Swansea really to get a big result, but I guess they will be expected to win tonight. Kind of, they weren't really expected to win against Bournemouth, where they lost 4-0, and I guess they weren't really expected to massively win against Blackpool, despite the home advantage. But against a relegation struggle in Barnsley, they should be getting a result, so that might play on their mind a bit and give Barnsley a bit of an advantage as well. And I'm sure the home fans will be right up for it, knowing that it's his first game as well. And I think the fact that this will be his first spell in English football as well as a manager, I think will give them that sense of unpredictability that might pay dividends in the first game. I think with Russell Martin's side, you know what you're going to get. But with a Poyet Asbaghi side, you just don't know. So it'll definitely be interesting to see how they set up. I'm kind of excited for this one.
Marcus, how does Swansea go about dealing with this occasion, if you like? I mean, I suppose in some ways they're well set up to spoil the atmosphere that Oakwell might provide in the early moments, given how good they are on the ball and keeping possession.
Yeah, that would be something to silence the home crowd, I think. But they'll take confidence from the playoff semi-final win last season. A lot of players with positive memories attached to going to Oakwell. I think they won 1-0 in the first leg there last season. I was disappointed with how they played against Blackpool. A 1-1 draw as a late Keshi Anderson equaliser, but I don't think Swansea deserved to win the game at all, even though they managed to hold on to until that late in the piece. So I think Russell Martin will be looking for a reaction from that performance in this one. And I do think that there's going to be an adaptation period to Poyraz Baggy's style. He's already switched it to a back four, which Barnsley, I don't think, have played since they last got promoted from League One. So it's going to be a real interesting clash of styles, this match. Swansea will see it as an opportunity to get back sort of in touch with the playoff places after falling away a little bit in recent weeks.
Okay, what's your score prediction here then, Marcus?
I'm going 1-0 Swansea. I think it'll be a tight one. I think Joel Perreault, maybe. Just can't deny his quality. That goal against Blackpool was superb at the weekend. And yeah, I think Swansea, as Adam hinted towards, you know what you're going to get. I think with Barnsley, they're still sort of learning on the job with this, the first sort of week of training they've had under the new manager. And I think it is going to be a case of learning his philosophy before being able to efficiently sort of produce performances of it on the pitch. So I think Swansea will edge it.
Okay, Adam, how do you see this one going?
I'm going to go with something a bit more exciting. I think I'm going to go with the 3-1 away win for Swansea. I'm not sure why. I think as Marcus said, I think Perreault will be a massive game changer for them. So yeah, I'm going to go with a 3-1. I'm not sure if Barnsley will keep a clean sheet or even keep it really tight defensively. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. But 3-1 Swansea for me.
Okay, Swansea would certainly take that. I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw. Right, just to round off this EFL preview show, we're just going to look at the two other games that are playing in the Championship rather briefly, offer you some score predictions. Bristol City v Stoke. Marcus, what's your score prediction for this one?
I'm going 2-1 Stoke. Bit of an injury crisis at the moment, but I think they've got the depth to cope with it. I like Stephen Fletcher and Jacob Brown as a front pair. I think they're starting to develop a relationship nicely, and Bristol City have been on the slide in recent weeks. And obviously we know about that record at Ashton Gate in 2021. I think Stoke definitely got the upper hand.
Adam, who do you fancy here?
I'm going to go with a 2-0 Stoke win. I think it'll be an away win. The home form in just this year really in general has been shocking. So yeah, I think it'll be a comfortable Stoke away win. They could score, I guess, Bristol City, so that kind of persuades me to go to a 2-1. But no, I'm gonna stick with my guns. I'm gonna go with a 2-0 away.
Yep, no, I think it's a clean sweep of Stoke wins here on the show. I'm going to go for a 2-0 Potters victory. One other Championship game as well, that's Blackburn against Peterborough United. Adam, let's come to you first of all with this one.
I can't see anything but a home win tonight. Tonight I think it will be perhaps a bit of a comfortable win. It's one that I think Peterborough will go into and think, well, we can get a result from this. But I think for me it will be a 2-0, another 2-0, a 2-0 home win for Blackburn.
Okay, Marcus, what do you see happening?
I'm going 2-2. I'm not really sure why. I've just got a good feeling about Posh tonight. I think the Ferguson new contract, he must be doing something right, and they really do need to start picking up points if they are going to give themselves a fighting chance to stay in the division. Blackburn weren't great at Bristol City at the weekend, so I think maybe this is an opportunity for Posh to pick up at least a point. 2-2.
Okay, yeah, I can see goals in this one as well. I'm just going to go for 3-2 to Rovers. Blackburn have got plenty of attacking talent. Peterborough like to play attacking football, so hopefully it should be a bit of a belter at Ewood Park tonight. That brings Football League World TV to a close for today. We'll be bringing you the midweek review tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Alfie Burns hosting that one. He's joined by Billy Mully and Chris Thorpe. At 12 o'clock, I'm hosting the Under the Microscope show. We're previewing West Brom Nottingham Forest, which is this weekend. We've got Matt from the WBA report and Des Oldham, Forest fan, joining me for that one. And then at 4:20, Tomorrow afternoon, I'll be back with Billy Mully. We're doing the EFL London show here on Football League World TV. Just before we go, I'd like to ask you to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you can, Football League World TV. That'd be greatly appreciated. And do like this video as well. That would help us out a great deal. Marcus, Adam, thanks for joining me this afternoon. Enjoy the football tonight. And from us here, we'll speak to you very soon.